What up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. Hey, man, I really got to talk on this because it's actually a conversation that I've had dozens and dozens of times over the years, and it's based off of the comments that the guy DJ Academics made, where he just called it what it is. He flat out disrespected, the pioneers of hip hop, man. Just talked about how um, the rappers from back in the days look dusty and broke and all this, man. And man, a lot of times I don't understand. I don't know if these are just like uh, shock value takes that people like to take because they know it's going to generate some controversy, it's going to generate views, it's going to get people talking, and because there is an element of that in media and social media where people just like, man, I gotta say something to shake it up and bring attention, and something like that would definitely do that. But regardless of the reason he may really feel that way, um, we got to speak on that because too many times the individuals who help build the house are not even allowed to live in the house. The individuals who laid the foundation that the current artists stand on today are not appreciated and not respected. And if it is a situation where they don't have the finances, the resources, they look dusty or whatever you want to try to, however you want to try to paint them, it's because they came into this game. First of all, they invented this game, so we all owe them homage. But they invented the game that all of us eat off of today, and they made it possible for the current artists to make the millions or whatever they making, even though a lot of them ain't making that. But that's another story. So you coming into an industry who already had a decades long reputation and history of milking artists anyway, cheating and scamming on artists anyway. When this new genre at the time called rap music comes along, who's to say it's going to be any different? It's not going to be any different. They're going to play the same game that they played back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s and 70s, all the way up. So there would be no opportunities for any rapper that's making millions of dollars today. There would be no opportunities for any rapper who um, got a TV show, got a clothing line, got a reality show, whatever you can think of, all the different things that rappers have been able to branch into, the movies, however you call it, none of that would be possible if it were not for the very individuals who was just doing it on the street corners, doing it for the love, and then paved the way, chopped down the trees. See, it reminds me of how the NBA is today. When you can look at players today who are making 30 and 40, $50 million a year to play basketball, right? And more power to them. But even the guys on the bench, the 10th, 11th, 12th guy making $3 million a year. And if you take some of the early pioneers of basketball, man, the greatest of all time, some of those guys, as far as basketball salary, they didn't make $3 million their whole career. I'm sure that Oscar Robertson and Bill Russell and all those guys who were the superstars, Elgin Baylor, they didn't make, they may not have made $1 million total in their whole career. Some of those guys was working jobs in the off season. So there's always those who have to sacrifice in order for those who come later to eat, and eat well. So it's very disrespectful to look at them, to look at those individuals and say, man, look at him. Oh man, look, wow, man, you can tell he broke. Oh wow, he might be broke, But if that's a problem, then why not use your platform to push and campaign towards establishing something that could generate revenue, that revenue can be contributed to in order to uplift financially the pioneers of the very game that you benefit now from, even media. You see? Because if your platform, what is your platform centered around? Your platform is centered around talking about rappers and rap music. You're talking about rappers and rap music, current rappers and rap music, right? But there would be no platform for that if it wasn't for those brothers and sisters that came along back in the 70s, in the 80s, even into the 90s. See? So when we speak like that, it's really, really disrespectful because there are so many other levels that we can equate and compare that to. So many other levels. We can compare that to the just the struggle of black people in America. Just a lot of the sacrifices that they had to go through in order for us to be able to do a lot of the things that we do today. So we can't look at that old lady. She's around here barely walking and crippled and out there getting bit by dogs and sprayed by water hose. It's like the disrespect to that operates on so many different levels of thinking, man. So it magnifies when the very genre that you eat from would not exist. The very platform you eat from wouldn't exist if it wasn't for them brothers and them sisters. Because we can't forget the females that was right there in the beginning. So I'm wondering what the mindset is. And shout out to LL Cool J, who came out and made a statement in defense of the pioneers. And I'm glad it was LL who said it. I don't think nobody would be better qualified to speak on that for a couple of reasons. One, because he's one of the greatest to ever do it. Two, because he is he represents a bridge between that old school all the way into the current day, and this that pop culture. He's woven into the pop culture fabric from back then all the way to the current, and he got a lot of bread. See, got a lot of bread. So if one of the pioneers may have came out and spoke and stood up on their own behalf, but he may not have been one who was financially on that level, then people may not have taken him seriously. I would have, but to hear LL say it makes it official because he looking at it like, shh, man, don't speak like that. Don't be disrespectful like that. Don't be disrespectful like that. Because typically, those who are there on the ground floor, those who was there chopping the trees down and clearing the land, a lot of times they're not the ones who end up getting the money. That's just the reality of it. It's always somebody else who walks in the door comfortably. But when these brothers came around, it wasn't no door. So LL laid that out in a way that you can't do nothing but give him a triple OG salute because that's just what he is. I've heard that others have come out and spoke on because we got to speak on that, man. We can't, one of the responsibilities of being an OG is to check and correct the youngsters who may get out of line, may speak out of line. They may speak out of ignorance. They may not mean it in a disrespectful way. I think this brother meant it in a disrespectful way just by saying they look dusty, and now that's disrespectful. But sometimes you can say something and you just say it, and you the perspective you speaking from, it ain't clicking with you. You don't get it. So somebody got to come along and say, well, nah, young brother, that's not how I go down. This is what it is, you know. So we got to be careful with that. Because another thing that you got to understand about this business, man, I don't care what level of it that you operate on. Opportunities come and they go. So the seat that you sit in today, you ain't guaranteed to be sitting in that seat this time next year, this time next month. See? So humble yourself. Humble yourself because you wouldn't even have a platform to say what you said if it wasn't for the OGs who made it possible. All right, man, it's your big brother K-Rino. If I forgot something, y'all put it in the comment section. And I appreciate the love, man. All right, peace.